Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today I actually wanted us to talk about introducing characters and the issues of an overly large cast. And there can be some issues when introducing characters constantly and trying to keep them as a main role. So I really wanted to kind of discuss that, and I also wanted to talk about introducing characters and the benefits to them as well. But before we get into that, I really want to give you all an update. So the review for RWBY Volume 1 will be coming out at the end of September. So I apologize it's taking so long to work on it. I'm just trying to go over it, review it, and trying to do my best on looking back at everything for Volume 1 and to give my best review that I can give for you possible. So I do want to apologize for this taking so long, but it's as I said, it would probably be at the end of August or September. And I am constantly reviewing and analyzing the volume as well. So, considering that I'm going back over all this, I'm trying to really give you all the best review for that entire volume that I can. So, I hope you all can continue to be patient with me, but it will be out at the end of September. So, I hope you all look forward to that, because I'm actually very excited for this review. And I hope each of you are as well. But anyways, sit back, relax, I hope you all enjoy, and let's go ahead and jump right on into this discussion. So, introducing characters from the beginning up to the point of where we're at in RWBY now, there have been some good parts and some issues with characters. Now, some characters that have been introduced in the very beginning that are obviously established as the main characters have gotten very good development, but there are some characters who along the way have had their development dropped, or they just haven't had really any attention thrown onto them. And one big part of this is introducing more characters, because the more characters get introduced, the more this can break away from paying attention to other characters and writing a compelling and strong arc for these characters. Because when there are so many characters that you have to work with, especially if a lot of them become main characters, you're going to have to work around a lot of these characters, and you're going to have to give each character the specific attention that you can whenever it comes to their point to have their story be told. And the thing here is, it's not bad to introduce characters. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when the cast continuously grows so big that you have to keep up with each character, you're going to have to keep up with each story. You're going to have to remember each story you're writing. You're going to have to remember each part that the character has gone through or that they are going through. And you're going to have to give them all specific attention. And this can go back to where I was talking about focus, how this can break away from it, and how when you look at certain characters, some of them had been thrown to the side and not really paid much attention to at all. If you look at what has gone on with RWBY, her character in Volume 4 started to have her attention kind of diminish, and then Volume 5 especially, it really diminished, because she was a part of a team that characters needed to be developed, as well as herself needing to go through growth too. So this was hard to work with RWBY, and it was hard to keep the attention onto her character and try to work on that. But with Volume 5, there were still chances that became missed opportunities to work on her character and to develop it further. And that can hurt the character, because when the attention is not put on them, at least whenever there could be a moment that they could at least add something to their character, it hurts them when they just sit around and ask irrelevant questions that don't help them grow at all. But if you look at Volume 4, which I think this was actually one of the better parts to Volume 4, even though there may have been issues in that volume, I do think one of the better parts was the development for Ren and Nora. I think that they had a nice little arc in there, and I think that it really did help their characters. It gave us an idea where Ren and Nora came from and what their past was like. And it even gave Ren and Nora more character depth, especially Ren, and showing us that they overcame the demon that had been haunting their past, the Nukalave. And that was good for Ren, it was good for Nora, it was good for both of them. But Volume 5, they then also don't have much attention thrown at them. There was not really much with them. I mean, yes, there were some comedic moments with Nora, and there were some, I guess, pretty intellectual moments with Ren, actually. But aside from that, they didn't really have a whole lot with them, and their fighting style as well. But looking at characters like Winter, for example. Now, Winter, yes, she is a character that is the elder sister of Weiss, and also the mentor character. Now, the thing about this is, what's good about her character is that she's not in it all the time. And she's kind of more of a side character, more of a mentor character to Weiss, and that's not a bad thing. It's not bad to have a character like this. And Winter obviously will become more important when it comes to Atlas, considering that that's where Ironwood is from, considering that's where the Atlas military is, and that's what she's a part of. And this will also continue on Weiss's arc. So there will be more importance there, but if you had Winter every single moment, well, that would add to another character that could be clogging the cast and could be clogging attention from other characters. And don't get me wrong, it would be nice to see more of Winter, but she really needs to stay where she's at, if that makes sense. She needs to stay more as a mentor-like character to Weiss, and to not dominantly be there at every waking moment, but when she's really needed to be there. And there might be a little bit of her story during the Atlas arc, which wouldn't hurt, but it would make sense at that point in time because it would be related to Weiss and her arc. So that wouldn't hurt. That would not be a bad point to actually throw her in. And seeing that some characters can just be side characters, that doesn't hurt to have them thrown in every once in a while. But when you look at Oscar, he was a character that was thrown in more so just to have him be a voice for Ozpin. Now, of course, there could have been more with him, because Volume 5 really dropped the ball on Oscar, I think. I think that he could have actually had more time. And considering that he is going to be a big part of the cast from this point on, considering that him and Ozpin are linked, they are one, this really hurts if Oscar doesn't get some attention and some moments too, because he is his own being. He is not just a guy that is a mind puppet. That's not what he is. He is his own character. And he does need to have some wants, some dreams, some goals. And with him not having these things, it hurts trying to make him a character that people could enjoy, and this could give him the lack of focus that he really needs if they continue to just throw him under the bus and really not work with him. So he is a character that does need to be worked on more, and considering that he is going to be around, that we know for a fact he's staying around as a main character because of Ozpin, he does need some development. He does need some things to actually help push his character along. And if this isn't worked on, then yes, his character will just be another character that was with wasted potential, that could have been there, that was thrown away. But another character I want to take a quick look at is Ilya. Ilya, at this point, I think the only way, if she's going to be a main character, it probably wouldn't be for a whole lot longer, and she would just kind of stick more to a side character role. And the only way I can really see her being important from this point on is with the issue concerning Adam. Now, that may be the only way, considering that she was a part of the White Fang just like Blake, and she did have a conflict. She had confliction of what she believed when it came to the White Fang and Adam. But after that, I really see her more as a side character. I see her more as a character that could work with trying to rebuild, working with the Faunus and a new White Fang. But after that point, there's not a whole lot Ilya would be able to do. I mean, she could still stay around as a side character, and that wouldn't hurt. But she could have a little bit of growth from here and there, but it wouldn't need to be a whole lot. And she wouldn't have a whole lot of importance outside of this Adam issue at this point. So I really don't see a whole lot they can do with Ilya. I mean, they can keep her around. I'm not saying they have to kill her. I'm not saying anything like that. But it just seems like her biggest importance was really with the White Fang and with Blake. That's really the big parts that they're really throwing out there. And I guess you could say Adam too, considering that that had a big part of it as well. So when it comes to that, Ilya should be a side character after that, and she wouldn't have to be vastly developed. She wouldn't have to be worked on too hard after that. And a big issue with introducing too many characters, it's like how Sienna had been built up in previous volumes up to volume 5, and then she only has a 5-minute appearance and then she's dead. It really hurt her character because Sienna needed a bit more action, especially considering that she was the leader of the White Fang. We could have at least seen a bit more with that. We could have seen Adam actually convince the members of the White Fang, and then we could have seen him betray her and kill her after they showed the backstory, which I think the character short should have happened before Sienna's death. Maybe have Sienna be around a bit longer, which wouldn't have really hurt. It wouldn't have been a bad thing, and then have her be betrayed, because yeah, it was nice to see her do things within the character short, but it really doesn't lead up to much because she's already gone. So it was cool to see her, but there wasn't a whole lot there. And that's the problem. When you're adding too many characters at this point, and then you have to try to spend time on them as well as the older cast members, especially ones that are not fully developed, it gets in the way. It does become problems, but I don't think the killing Sienna Khan that early was a good move. I don't think that was the best idea. And she didn't really have any development at that point in time when we saw that in Volume 5. So it was really a problem to see her just go like that. But one thing I think that's really good on how things had been done with Weiss and Blake's arcs respectively was the characters they actually had in there that were support characters. Now, what I mean by support characters, I mean by characters that really helped Weiss or Blake along the way in their respective stories. I think that was a good way to work with characters because when they were telling their own stories, these characters had their own important roles within the stories themselves. If you look at Sun, Sun had a very good role, I think, within Blake's story because he really helped her understand that her friends are there to help her. Her friends and family are there to support her, and he was a very good role of wisdom in those regards. It really helped Blake see the issues that, with her running away, that it was not helping her, that she was just pushing people away because she felt that that was the only way to protect them and get them out of any danger, when it only made things worse. It didn't really help, and she even stated herself that she believed that they had every right to hate her. But Sun threw a realization at her that friends are here for friends, and that's what they do. They are here to support, and they always will be. True friends will not leave you, and they will stay till the very end. And that was a good thing for Blake to realize, because she realized to never run away at this point. It pushed her and helped her move forward. And not only that, but her parents were actually very good. They were good support characters in her own story as well. And at the same time, we did get to see more of these characters, and we got to learn more about them. It was good. It's not like the attention was thrown away from Blake whenever it was talking about her respective arc. It was developing her character and actually giving characterization to these other characters. And it really helped these characters. They became very likable characters and enjoyable characters to even watch. And if you actually look at Klein, Klein was very helpful in Weiss's arc. He was a great support character for Weiss. And this is how you should be doing things. You should be having characters that can support the main character of their arc. This is a good thing because they're not exactly main characters, but it's not that they're not important. It's that they're there supporting the main character of that arc. And they're helping them get through it. And of course, with Klein being jokative, and he understood the issues that Weiss had been going through, he tried to cheer her up, and he tried to help make things easier for her during these trying times she was going through with her father and her brother. So, Klein was a great guy, and he also helped her escape the Schnee Manor. So, you have to give Klein credit as well. He was a good character, and this is good how these characters are being worked on here. They are being worked as support characters. They are being worked as characters that help with the main character of the arc, of their story. And that is a good way to implement characters. Not every character has to be a main character. Every character that is in the series, there's going to be different roles for them. They're going to be main characters, support characters, side characters, even background characters, but at least they have some variation of significance in their own right. And with Klein, Sun, Blake's parents, they were really good reasons to show support characters and how they helped Blake and Weiss out respectively. Now, Vernal, on the other hand, she was an unnecessary character, I think. She's a character that never left an impact on me at all whatsoever. I personally did not care for her. Now, if you're a Vernal fan, that's fine. I'm not saying you don't have to like Vernal. I'm not saying you're wrong for that. But she didn't do anything for the series other than be a decoy for Raven. She was just a part of Raven's plan, and this is what I mean by it's bad to add certain characters, because when you just throw in a character just for a certain part, it's not really that good whenever they're being led up to be something and then they're just used as fodder. And that's all Vernal was. She was fodder, and she had no real significance other than to be that decoy for Raven. And I didn't care for Vernal. I didn't see any reason to, and her character, there wasn't really a whole lot to who she was, and she wasn't really built upon. And it was a bit of a problem to me, I think. And I think that if they were just going to do this, well, they could have done things differently within these regards. But when it comes to a cast, and when it comes to characters, and when it comes to putting this stuff in, you have to remember that each character, they have their role to play. Main character, side characters, even support. They have their role to play. And if you add too many main characters, it just clogs everything. And I'm not saying don't add in new characters. It goes back to that. I'm just saying remember that whenever a character is being implemented, think of the role. Think of how you're going to do the character. Think of how you're going to place them in and what importance and weight they bring to the series. And even if they're a support character or a side character, they still have their role to play. It's like a puzzle. You place them in at that certain point where they deserve to be put in, and you go from there. Don't try to just shove characters in at any given moment and then take away from the other remaining characters that have been there previously and stop the growth of the character. Because when that happens, it becomes a problem. That's why you always have to know when and where to place the character in the series, and then how you're going to use them. What weight do they hold to the story at that point? Because each character should at least have some sort of impact or another. But anyways, let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well, anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.